TR1 for power transfer internal on your mark.
Roger, on my mark, all stages to internal power. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. S2 is go. Roger.
Barring good luck, you will be going further than any of us have in history.
Well, actually, no. 4 nations went to the moon last year.
You know what? I have had it up to here with you. We pushed this up as quick as possible to the point of being dangerous, just to keep to your schedule.
Roger that.
Alright, there we go. 3 astronauts on 2 kilotons of fuel to go to the moon. We gotta clear the pad, let's get out of here.
You know, when you say it like that, you make me sound like the bad one.
2, 1, fire. Right, that's what I'm running. Okay, the swing arm is going to full retracted this time. Push for nav. Go. Your K-85, the spacecraft S2, zero staging switches off. Roger, thank you. Pre-valve closed, S4B chill down in progress. Roger, chill down. Roger, we are. 9, 7, 5, 4, exit. Lift off. Roger, clock. Clock, start, flight, roger. Start to go all in. Roger. Ready, power. Roger, we got a roll program. Flight 5. Roger, all. Roger. 0, stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Stand by for mode 1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie. Houston, you are go for station. Thrusters go all in. When Houston thrusters go all in, you're looking good.
Silver Star 2, originally supposed to just be a flyby of the moon to test the spacecraft and its life support systems with the crew on board, now is an all-out lunar landing dress rehearsal. This is because last year, 4 separate nations did their own dress rehearsals. Upon seeing this, the General demanded that we push our dress rehearsal up to the Silver Star 2. The crew, lunar pilot Baring, Commander Jessica, and capsule pilot Sarah, had 4 weeks to train for the surprise addition to this mission. Luckily, we have some of the best astronauts in the world, and they stepped up to the challenge. Thousands gathered in Hawaii to watch the launch, while millions watched from their TVs. The Neptune launch vehicle lifted off Pad 15B in the evening of January 4th, its solid rocket motors lighting a false day to the surrounding area. The SRBs in the main core worked perfectly as the 3 astronauts rode their 12-minute ride into orbit. As MECO is confirmed, the N2B is released before performing a small burn to finalize orbital insertion. 45 minutes after liftoff, the crew of Silver Star get the call for mission control that all astronauts want to hear. Silver Star 2, you are go for TLI. Now on their way to the moon, the command and service module detaches from the N2B stage to perform transposition. Sarah takes control of the spacecraft, using the RCS thrusters to turn around to face the lunar lander, sitting neatly in the N2B stage. The command module and lander use a probe-drogue docking system. The probe on the command module is inserted into the drogue on the lander. Once together, the probe retracts, bringing the two together, creating an airtight seal and allowing the crew to move between the lander and the capsule. Now one craft again. The lander is carefully pulled out of the N2 stage as Silver Star 2 is bound for the moon. On the way, the craft is put into a controlled roll to spread the heat from the sun over the whole craft, appropriately named the barbecue roll. As Silver Star 2 recedes away from the Earth, the crew is given one of the most unique views. Very few eyes have been able to see the Earth all in one image. As the Earth gets smaller, the moon grows ever larger as they slowly approach their destination. Upon arrival at the moon, Silver Star 2 is placed into a 20-kilometer orbit. This is 5 kilometers higher than the plan for the actual lunar landing. This was decided because we are making a fake surface at 5 kilometers over the actual surface during the landing. Baring will treat 5 kilometers as the ground and attempt to hover as close to 5 kilometers above the surface as possible, with a hard deck limit of 4.5 kilometers. Once in orbit of the moon, Baring and Jessica climb into the lunar lander Ingenuity and say their farewell to Sarah. Hopefully, they will be reunited soon. As the blue marble, our home, rises above the lunar surface, Ingenuity's engines light and the descent begins. As director of the Space Administration, I should probably go over some of the risks involved with this rehearsal attempt. The lander's engine has only 3 ignitions, and the mission profile has a minimum of 3 ignitions. So yeah, there's no room for error. Future lunar missions will not have this issue due to uprated engines, but this mission being rushed has its tight margins. During the descent, most of the lateral velocity is wiped first before focusing on the vertical velocity, hopefully ensuring a more efficient trajectory down to the surface. As the ground radar picks up the terrain, it is higher than expected. This means we'll probably break through the 5 kilometer quote-unquote ground, but Baring should be able to stay above the 4.5 kilometer hard deck. Baring expertly brings Ingenuity down. Its landing trajectory brings the craft to a hover at just 4,747 meters above the surface. As both astronauts hover over the surface, the distance a person can run in 15 minutes, Commander Jessica makes a comment. "It's so close I could just reach out and grab it." After a few seconds of hovering, the command is sent to abort and return to orbit. The ride back to orbit is smooth, with no major issues coming up. Once the circularization burn is complete, Ingenuity is dead in the water, its engines all out of ignitions. Jessica and Baring are now fully reliant on Sarah to get them home. After only in orbit, Sarah has Ingenuity in her sights, and it appears that Baring has given Sarah a challenge and put Ingenuity into a spin. Jessica tells Sarah something about no time for caution. Back on Earth in Mission Control, no one has any clue what this means. Sarah brings the two craft together and then executes a spin to cancel out the relative rotational velocities, and then now both craft are back together. Now together again in orbit, it is time to prepare for the trip home. But a few minutes later, all the crew begin to feel unwell and are having very painful headaches. They also note an annoying noise coming from the science instrument cabinet. Checking on the noise, Jessica realizes it's the Geiger counter. Silver Star 2 was in the middle of a solar storm. The crew quickly reorient the spacecraft to have the back face the sun, putting as much stuff between them and the sun as possible. Once in the shadow of the moon, the headache subsides, the moon acting like a shield. But they are unable to contact mission control due to the solar storm messing with communications. Jessica makes the decision to use a predetermined maneuver meant to be used in the event of a communication blackout such as this to get home as soon as possible. This will cause their landing site to be unknown, but is better than being fried by radiation. As the maneuver approaches, the crew waits till the last second to flip to the correct attitude. Once the maneuver is complete, the attitude is reoriented back to limit the radiation as much as possible. back to Earth, the headaches subside and communication is reestablished. Mission Control is finally able to breathe a sigh of relief that the crew seems to be in good health. One small issue is that the current trajectory will have them re-enter in the Himalayas, so the recovery might be difficult. I'm sure our recovery teams can handle it though. And after a week in space, Silver Star 2 successfully splashes down, I mean litho breaks, back on Earth. General, I'm glad I found you. We have 2 Neptune boosters that will be ready at the beginning of 1969, and no other nation is planning on landing on the moon until the middle of 1969. We should be first to the moon.
We can't be first to the moon.
What do you mean we can't be first?
If we are first, Congress will see no use in us anymore, and our funding will be cut. The future of this space program will be slashed before our greatness will fully be seen.
If you're not going to go to the moon, you can't just leave a Neptune booster laying around. That would be too obvious.
Well, that's why we are going to put this in space instead.
You want to put that in space?
It's our first space station. It will help us study the effects of microgravity on astronauts and help prepare us for deep space missions to other planets.
It's giant. It is time to solidify our permanence in space. To do this, we are launching the Astral space station. As it is just a science lab, many in the United Pacific Space and Science Administration are calling it Skylab, but according to some sources, that name's already been taken.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And we have a liftoff. The Skylab lifting off the pad now, moving up.
Neptune, for the 3rd straight launch, performs nominally. This launch vehicle is getting the reputation of being a very reliable system. The space station is being targeted to be placed into a 100-kilometer circular orbit at a 35-degree inclination. The N2A stage just has a very small job to do, just a 124 meter per second burn to circumvise the orbit. course, to have a station fully working, you need to have a crew. And for Astral Station, the crew is on the pad. Ryland and Felix, you are go. For the next 90 days, Felix and Ryland will be conducting many experiments that can only be done in microgravity, as well as being experiments themselves, as we study the long-term effects of microgravity on a body. After nearly 4 months in deep space, Traveler 2, which many are calling UPSA's Hail Mary after it was cobbled together when its sibling craft blew up on launch, is now making its Mars flyby on May 2nd, 1969. cameras began to beam back the first ever close-up images of the fourth planet, revealing a very rusty red surface. Other images reveal incredible features on the surface, giant valleys stretching thousands of kilometers, as well as mountains that appear to reach out into space itself. The magnetometer is unable to detect any magnetic field, which would explain the very thin Martian atmosphere as it was ripped away by solar wind. It is also my pleasure to announce that Traveler 2 is the first spacecraft in history to reach the Red Planet. As its flyby concludes and its mission complete, Traveler 2 returns to deep space for all eternity. With one Traveler mission coming to an end, it is time for another one to begin. With a Venus transfer starting, Traveler 3 is ready for launch. This time we aren't rushing around to get a museum piece onto a rocket, so this mission is expected to be a little less stressful. The Armator 4 booster performed nominally, placing the spacecraft on a near orbital trajectory, before handing off control to the Vega satellite bus. Due to immaculate work made by the engineers at the Seattle Research Institute of Aeronautics, the Traveler 3 weighed much lighter than its initial proposal. This means that the travel time to Venus will be only 49 days. As Traveler 3 approached Venus, it released a small probe to attempt an atmospheric entry of the Venusian atmosphere. A few minutes later, a small solid rocket motor lights on the probe, bringing its parasynthion into the atmosphere. It then reorientates itself facing its heat shield in the direction of travel. Just before entry interface, its sensors and scientific instruments turn on, and its connection is established with Traveler 3 to act as a relay to get the data back to Earth. And 90 kilometers above the surface, the probe slams into the atmosphere at over 5 kilometers a second. As data is received at mission control, it is noticed that the probe is not slowing down as much as expected. And then the probe begins to climb higher and higher until it's back out of the atmosphere. Many at mission control are dumbfounded as the trajectory was calculated to have a probe litho brake. This is probably the Technocratic Republic of Germany messing with our sensors or something. No matter, we still got good data on the upper atmosphere of Venus as both probes escape the Venusian system. During the Traveler 3 mission, the Astral Crew 1 has made its way back to Earth. They were able to safely splash down after their 90-day mission in space. And to finish off the episode, we are going to do some unscripted stuff because it turns out, according to this very, very accurate Discord poll that we have right here. You guys like when I just yap like an idiot for a couple minutes. Oh well. These two missions really didn't fit with the rest of the episode. One's a weather satellite that someone put a antenna on a decoupler, so I may have accidentally hit the space bar, and the antenna was lost. But I also wanted to just be able to talk, ignore that flip. Skyfall right now, very fun. This second episode, I know it does take a long time to make these, and the YouTube algorithm definitely doesn't want to push a 35-minute video, so I don't really expect much, but you know, I make these for me, no one else. They're just pretty chill. As you can see, the Zerg, who puts a satellite dish on a decoupler? Right, can we be for real right now? But anyways, back. This episode is gonna come out a day late. I mean, it's Sunday at 11:46 right now, p.m. That's because of a certain little known mission called Artemis. You know, I kind of spent a little too much time watching the live streams, but you know, it's truly amazing to see people going around the moon. Christina Reed, Victor, and the Canadian. No, I'm sorry to my fellow Canadians. Unlike this, where the SRBs knock our thing off and two J2 engines are not getting that to orbit. That is going in the water. Oh well, goodbye. And now we also have Astral 2. This is the second crew for the space station. They're going to be up, I think, for 120 days. We're just going to speed through this launch because you've seen an N01 booster, I think, at least 4 or 5 times now. We do not need to see that again, so we're just going to skip up to orbit. I actually forgot who the crew is for this. Hopefully we'll see in a second. Oh, look at that beautiful shot of the Astral station. Now we have the crew coming in. I believe it's hold on, let me see. It is Mark and Cooper, the pilots. So Mark will be the scientist who's a botanist, and Cooper the pilot. I should also let you all know that the next episode will be a little different. It is going to be the moon landing, and that will be the only thing going on in that episode, and it'll probably be a complete cinematic. I'm going to try to make it faster because it's just the one mission, but I'm going to go all out. I'm going to put everything into this mission, or to the editing and everything, and make it look as good as possible for you. But if you are still watching, thank you very much. That is all I have for today, and we will see you when we go to the moon. See ya!